Mike had always preferred the night shift. It was quiet, uneventful. Sitting at the security desk in an old office building on the outskirts of town, he mostly dealt with flickering lights, the occasional raccoon tripping the motion sensors, and long stretches of boredom. The building itself was nothing special, a forgotten relic of a time when the town had been busier, now occupied by only a few late-night businesses and empty offices. One night, as the dull hum of the fluorescent lights lulled him into a half-dazed state, Mike absent-mindedly fiddled with the old radio on his desk. The company's security team had left it there years ago, a relic from a time before smartphones. He twisted the knob through the static, hoping to find something, music, talk radio, anything to break the monotony. Then he found it. A station crackled to life, one he had never heard before. The signal was weak, almost as if it wasn't meant to be found. The eerie hiss of static was punctuated by muffled voices, deep and distorted, as though they were speaking from another time. Tonight's forecast calls for heavy storms. A fatal accident on Route 6, 3 dead. Mike sat up straight. Route 6 was just a few miles from the building, but he hadn't heard about any accidents. He checked his phone. Nothing on the news, no alerts. Maybe it was a pre-recorded segment? He listened closer, the voices growing clearer. The fire at Parker Textile Warehouse claimed 5 lives. The blaze started at approximately 2:13 a.m. Mike's stomach dropped. Parker Textile Warehouse? That place had been shut down for years, abandoned since the early 90s. There was no way there could be a fire there tonight. He shivered, brushing it off as an old replay or a mistake. Yet something about the way the announcer spoke made his skin crawl, flat, monotone, and utterly devoid of emotion. Then the music started. It was a scratchy old tune, the kind you'd hear from a record player buried under decades of dust. The melody was slow, warped, twisting unnaturally through the static. He turned the knob, trying to change the station. The dial wouldn't budge. He tapped the radio, but the music droned on, dragging him into its haunting rhythm. Then, suddenly, silence. A new voice emerged, but this one was different. It was quiet, breathy. "Mike, are you listening?" His heart stopped. The radio crackled. The voice returned, closer now, almost inside his ears. "You need to leave." Mike yanked the power cord from the wall. The radio fell silent. He sat there, frozen, his pulse hammering in his throat. His rational mind told him it was a coincidence, a prank, maybe, or just late-night paranoia. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply, horribly wrong. Then his phone buzzed, a news alert. His hands trembled as he unlocked the screen. Breaking. Fatal crash on Route 6. 3 confirmed dead. Mike's breath came in shallow gasps. That had been the exact report he'd heard just minutes ago. The exact words. But that wasn't possible, was it? He stood up, pacing the room, trying to calm himself. Maybe he had misheard it. Maybe his mind was playing tricks on him. But the unease in his gut only grew stronger. And then, at 2:13 a.m., the emergency radio in the building's security office blared to life. Fire reported at Parker Textile Warehouse. Multiple casualties. The world around Mike seemed to tilt. No, this was wrong. It had to be a coincidence. Didn't it? He forced himself to sit back down. He needed answers. His fingers hesitated before plugging the radio back in. The moment it powered on, the static returned, whispering like voices just beyond a veil. "You shouldn't be listening, Mike." He shoved himself away from the desk, his chair scraping against the linoleum floor. The voice had said his name again. He wasn't imagining this. He wasn't dreaming. The station continued. Security guard found dead. Strangled in his own chair, blood pooling beneath him, police investigating. Mike felt his stomach lurch. Then he heard it, a soft scuffing noise behind him. He turned, his breath hitching in his throat. The office was empty. He reached for his flashlight, hands slick with sweat. The hallway leading to the security office stretched into darkness, the emergency lights flickering like dying candles. He swallowed hard, stepping out slowly. The corridor was quiet, too quiet, but then he saw it, down at the far end of the hall, barely visible in the dim light. A figure. It stood unnaturally still, its face obscured in shadow. Mike's breath hitched as he took a step back. The radio crackled again. "You shouldn't have stayed, Mike." The figure moved. Mike ran. He sprinted through the building, his pulse thundering in his ears. The hallways twisted in unnatural ways. corridors leading to dead ends that hadn't been there before. Every door he reached was locked. Every turn led him deeper into the maze of darkened offices and abandoned rooms. The voice on the radio followed him. "You can't run, Mike." He reached the stairwell, bounding down the steps 3 at a time. The moment he hit the ground floor, he burst through the emergency exit into the cold night air. Silence. The parking lot was empty. The air smelled of rain, thick and heavy with the coming storm. Mike didn't wait. He climbed into his car, hands shaking as he started the engine. The headlights flickered to life, illuminating the building one last time. In the second-floor window, someone was watching him. No, not someone, something. The radio in his car let out a burst of static. Then, clear as day, the voice returned, soft, mocking. "See you soon, Mike." The headlights cut out, the engine died, and the last thing Mike heard before the darkness swallowed him whole was the scratchy, warped tune of a song from a radio station that shouldn't exist.